Let me give you a little background here just to let you know what's going on. Usually he'll do the interview and I'll interpret, but we're a little bit short of time today.
Hey.
So he has faxed me, taking the time and trouble to fax me all these questions here. I'll just try to wing it on my own.
And you can read that?
Try.
That's great. That's incredible.
Well, you know, hey.
Well, I mean, you know, it's...
A little bit of schooling. A little bit of schooling. He saw the show the other night. And,
at the Budokan.
At the Budokan. Yeah. But
if you're only as good as your last show, then I'm feeling real good right now.
Well, that's pretty much his opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Although one thing that kind of stuck out was the dominance of the older fans, or at least fans of the older music. Because it seemed like when you did Angel, there was kind of
a lull.
Yeah. People were screaming out, you know, Bon Jovi, sell out, blah, 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 this kind of thing.
Oh, you heard that?
Well, that was sort of the reaction. Bon Jovi, I don't believe it. Yeah, I guess there were people who... Yeah. So, you know, that's just like one element of the music that didn't quite go over well. You said the older stuff seemed to go over best. That's
cool, you know, it probably should bug me, you know, the kids say that, but we're ready for that stuff because in so many interviews I have said, you know, the last thing I want to do is go out and play Angel anymore. I'm sick and tired of that fucking song. On one hand, it's a very beautiful song, and I'll be the first to admit that, you know, and I do love the song. It just so happens that after Dream On, A Stairway to Heaven, I mean, there's always been a place in the rock and roll market for your bleeding fucking ballad. And Aerosmith's always been good at it. And we happened to write a good one with Desmond, and it came out and it was a hit, but, you know, other people, like myself, I'm sick of fucking hearing that on the radio. I'm sorry, that's just where it's at. It's like, hey, when you're a band and you got a lot of singles on your album, after a while, some of the radio stations play it to death, and you go, fucking turn that off. When it starts happening to my own songs, I scratch my head. Now, we haven't played Angel we might have played it we just did 142 shows in the United States, and we played Angel maybe 25 times. So it's a kick. We get off on it. We didn't play it in Osaka, and where was the first place we played last week? Nagoya. And I got, for all the fan mail I got, which does not come in the mail here. The kids come up and hand it to me. There was nothing, but there was one thing that remained the same in all of them. They wanted to hear more of the old songs. And we just did Europe and opened up for Whitesnake to get a lot of territory. We didn't have a lot of time to play, so we decided to open up. We did this Monsters of Rock, and we played right before Whitesnake, you know, on the bill with Poison and a couple other bands. And they didn't know a lot of the old albums. They only know the last two albums, Permanent Vacation and Pump. Now, we're going over to Australia where we've never been before. And the Pump album was #1 2 months ago. So they don't even know about the first 9 albums that Aerosmith did. So we're going to have to go over there and play a lot of shit off the last 2 albums. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to go out there and say, hey, you fucking kids need a little enlightenment. This is what it's all about, and rip into, like, draw the line. Because I'm going to. My job up there is to turn people on to what I like. That's what it's always been. To turn people on to what this maniac called Joe Perry dances his ass off to. That's my job. I love it. When I look over and Joe's going crazy, that's what it's all about for me. But I guess getting back to your question about Angel, we just decided to get rid of the slower tunes. I mean, I'll tell you where we come from. I don't even want to do Dream On sometimes. To me, the set's got to be, you know, we come out of the box with Young Lust, or Train Kept a Rolling, into Young Lust, into F-I-N-E, into Monkey, into you know, and then it goes down to Janie. It's a high there, and then it goes down to Janie. Then we do Red House and Angel, and it's down here. And then it goes back up, and then at the end it goes, and it goes off into Love in an Elevator and Walk This Way, and it's off the map. That's the way I like to vision the set going. So we decided, let's do these songs and get them out of the way, so we put 3 slow in a row. We did Joe Perry's Red House and What It Takes, and then Angel. Something tells me that we're going to be cutting Angel out of the set. But, you know, you're never right or wrong, and I really don't give a shit. It bothers me if somebody's yelling out, you know, Bon Jovi and shit, because I would be angry, too. It's not one of my favorite songs to play. But there's still a part of me, you know, that loves it, and if the kids want to hear it, why then we'll play it.
Of course, in the States, the kids really appreciate that because any song from the radio, they want to hear it live.
Well, yeah, part of for me, going to see your bands, when I was a kid, I went and saw a lot of bands from the Stones to the Yardbirds to the Kinks, and a lot of the bands in between that I don't like would go out there and play their hits a little bit faster, like maybe a lot a bit faster, and they would do them in a different key, and they'd do something fast, real slow, and I'd go, fuck, what are they doing that for? It ruined it. Or they would do all their hits in a medley. What the fuck are you doing? What kind of bullshit is that? It's like, so, yeah, over in the States, the kids want to hear, it's playing live is a relation trip. They want to see you doing what they hear on the radio all day. And when they do, something clicks. The knowledge of knowing the song by virtue of being on the radio and seeing the people that they hear on the radio all the time live is the magic. And to me, I can wake up one morning and say, well, no, I'm fucking sick and tired of doing it like that. We're going to do Angel up-tempo. We're going to do Angel reggae. I'd rather not do the song. I'd just rather not do the song. But, it's all an interpretation of the artist. Some artists are like that. We're not. And again, I've said in so many magazines, I'm tired of doing Angel. Because my core and my gut says, hey, permanent vacation. We just crawled out of a hole from the drugs and the doldrum of touring too much and the ignorance of saying, well, fucking let's let the drugs talk instead of me learning how to make my instrument talk. Who would have ever thought of that? How novel an idea. So now we like to let the instruments talk, let the music do the talking, And but that album, we did have a lot of commercial stuff to get out of the hole as a good grabbing to ensure that we get some play and get back on top. As you see, I think it's unfolded, and the whole world knows that our real gut, Aerosmith, wanting to play to the kids, lies in stuff like Pump. I mean, doing F.I.N.E. and Monkey on My Back and Janie's Got a Gun, as opposed to some of the other songs that were originally on the A-list that some people said, let's go with that. We just didn't want to. We wanted to get to what really gets us off, because I got to tell you that there was no MTV in the beginning. It was just us. And if anyone was to ask me, boil it down, what is it? What's the magic that made you guys successful? I don't know. All I know is I love to watch Joe Perry play guitar. He's out of his mind. And Brad, Joey Kramer, and it was us getting off to ourselves. It was, I'm very sympathetic to Joe and Joe's to me. We resonate together, and that just went on to the audience. Suddenly the audience vibrates, and the whole place went, wah! And that's what I think today the magic lies in. And unless we keep that alive with playing songs like Monkey and opening with Train Kept A-Rollin', fuck, a lot of kids don't even know what that song is. It's off the second album. But we don't give a shit,
Just want to get something straight before we continue. そのチョイスで始まったんだけど、どう？こんな感じで。
もうだからチープトリックの企画とかそういうのいいからさ、ジャック・ダグラスの話聞いてもらう。
There was kind of a funny question in here about the producers. If somebody had, well, let's say before you guys made Pump, the record company said, okay, you guys got to use Jack Douglas this time. What would you have said?
I would have said no, because the music industry and the business has gotten so advanced via the technological electronics. It's gotten so advanced that there's new ways to get a sound. You don't spend all day getting a microphone miking the drums when you can, to make it sound good on tape. There's other ways to do it. Going through a Remza or a Publicent in the 1970s was that. Nowadays, there's different things. Well, I want to move on. I think our albums were great for the time in the 70s, but you listen to it now compared to Satriani or an Aerosmith album or even the Black Crowes, and it sounds way better. I mean, I got to say that Jack Douglas and those people back then did a real good job, but it was then, and this is now, and it's time to move on. We decided to go into new studios and use the top of the line stuff and get a better sound. I mean, you got to keep up with the Joneses. If the Beatles came out today and they went, "She loves you," woo! It wouldn't mean shit to a tree. Kids would go, "What the fuck is that?" So we just think, the magic lies in our songwriting and in getting it out to people who hear it real good. People want to put their headphones on and get fucking blasted. They want that